Gage Tollner, executive pastry chef, cookbook author, and James Beard Award nominee, Caroline Schiff. Hello!
Good morning.
It's so great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'd imagine that wherever you go, there's just notes of sugar and butter and wonderfulness that kind of trail you.
Always.
Yeah. Okay, so an illustrious history here from 1879 to the present. Can you give us the Cliff Notes version history of Gage and Tollner, the establishment?
Well, as you said, 1870s it opened, and it actually existed until 2004.
Wow.
When it closed, but it was preserved because it's a landmarked space.
There we go.
Look at
there
this.
we go.
So the current partners were able to get their hands on it, and they had a really amazing vision of how they were going to restore it. And we opened in 2021.
Wow.
Thank God you brought. I love it when things like that come back.
Yeah.
And where is it? It's on the corner of?
We're at the intersection of Fulton and J Street.
And Nimesh, our last guest, said he's
comedian.
a big fan of the establishment.
Yes.
I love that.
So what are some of the holiday goings-on at the establishment?
So we are doing some tasting menus. We have a beautiful Christmas Eve lunch coming up. We have a lot of specials on the menu. And then, of course, we're doing a tasting menu for New Year's Eve.
And it
I
looks
love
like
a
you're making a
tasting menu.
beef Wellington, but we're going to get to that later.
Yes.
Let's start with what's in front of us, because we're dying to dig in.
Okay, so it's cookie season.
Yes, it is. This one knows that.
And shortbread cookies are my absolute favorite.
good.
They're buttery, they're kind of melt in your mouth.
Yes.
And they're really easy to make.
Are they now?
So, yes.
Okay.
Very few ingredients, pantry friendly. And this recipe of mine is super versatile. So you can add nuts, chocolate chips, dried fruit.
You like that, Yipik? That's going, right?
My mouth is watering.
All right, let's get to
All
it.
right,
What's
so-
this business? I'll
We'll
dance
start
with you.
Okay.
because I'm not going to be making them because I don't have a recipe.
Well, like any good cookie, we start with some butter,
Yes.
of course. And you can do this with a mixer, but I wanted to show people that you can do it.
You can do it at home.
You don't have to have a
You don't have
fancy
to have
hand
a
mixer.
fancy mixer.
I do not have that.
So I use actually a spatula or like a wooden spoon to really start creaming the butter.
Smush that baby
And
down.
is that unsalted butter room temp?
This is unsalted butter, room temperature, and that's important.
Are you a pastry chef?
I'm her sous chef. We just don't want to say anything.
And my taste testers.
I'll be the taste tester.
And so then we're going to add some powdered sugar. And we do powdered sugar because it keeps it really light and that melt in your mouth
wow.
consistency.
Fantastic.
So that goes in.
Okay.
Sugar cloud.
Love it. That's the best kind of. This is what I'm talking about. It follows her.
Yes, that's right.
We cream that up, and then I like to add citrus zest.
Why is that?
I think it's a little different. It's a little exciting.
Yeah.
It gives some brightness and kind of balances everything out. And always do it fresh. You can use
So you're doing an orange? Okay.
You could. We'll do some lemon as
Okay.
well.
That's a sharp microplane, because that peel didn't stand
That
a
she
chance.
barely had to apply pressure there.
You gotta get.
I use a cheese grater because I'm not classy.
Yipik, I'll get you one for Christmas.
Thank you.
Jeez.
But you can smell this beautiful
I
citrus,
can. It
all
is
those natural oils
glorious.
coming out. And you could add vanilla, you could add a teaspoon of cinnamon. So this is really, really versatile.
Yes.
The flavor profile is up to you.
So then
Yeah.
you're at, what is this?
A little bit of salt.
Okay.
I always do a little bit of salt in my
Okay.
baked goods.
Yes.
It enhances
Yes.
the flavors, it balances it out a
Yes.
little bit, makes it mouth-watering.
Oh my God. My mouth is watering.
Of course, we need some flour, all-purpose flour. You know, any brand works really
Okay.
well. Start
That
getting
gets
this
all
in-
zhuzhed.
Zhuzh it up,
Yeah.
get it all incorporated, and then I'm adding chopped pecans
Okay.
today.
Well, fancy
I feel like
pants.
we've just been transported to the south with the pecans.
That's right.
Right. You could do hazelnut. You could do walnut, almond, like
Anything you want.
Anything. Think of this as like a blank
Dealer's
canvas.
choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I just peeped your apron. Can we just talk about your whole vibe?
Yeah,
From your
you
hair
are a vibe.
to your apron,
The earrings I've been
earrings.
staring at
I
as well.
mean, I can't with you. Continue. I'm
Thank
sorry to
you.
interrupt
You're
our
so
So
sweet.
through the
our
magic
program.
of television, this goes in the fridge for how long?
Well, so you can form it into a log.
Oh, a log.
Like this. Wrap it in plastic. Chill it for 3 hours.
3 hours.
About. But you could also make this ahead, chill it overnight. And you could keep this in the fridge for like a week.
So just in case someone pops over in between Christmas and New Year's, oh, I wasn't expecting you.
Let me get out that nice,
or you have
delicious
a
log.
cookie emergency and you just need a cookie.
Yeah.
Can I try one of these?
Yes.
Try one of these.
Them.
And
I like to roll the outside in some turbinado sugar.
Oh my God.
Before you put it into the oven.
Bake them off.
Can we talk about the fondue? Because apparently the 70s are back. We saw the beef Wellington, which really figured in the 70s, and apparently it's back. Along with fondue.
Fondue, and also at the restaurant, I do a baked Alaska, which is a very retro, fun dessert.
What is a baked Alaska?
Baked Alaska is layers of ice cream coated in meringue, and then it gets toasted.
I was gonna say, I feel like that has the fire involved.
Yeah. I have a blowtorch. Get yourself a blowtorch.
I am not shocked.
Do you have a blowtorch?
No, but I will after talking to her. So this is at the restaurant, a little fondue.
This is actually, this is not at the restaurant. This is a recipe that I came up with a couple weeks ago, and I actually made it for Thanksgiving for my family. We had such a good time.
Was it a hit?
It was a hit, and
Who doesn't love fondue?
The thing about fondue is you actually don't need a fondue set. So again, this is really low maintenance.
I can do it.
It's really, really simple. All that's in there is good quality dark chocolate, some half and half.
And all the good things. And we have sadly run out of time. Thank you. You keep eating. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Chef
so
Caroline.
much.
Remind our viewers where they can find you.
At Gage Tollner, downtown Brooklyn.
Fantastic. We'll also post the recipes to the shortbread and chocolate fondue over on our page at pix11.com.
Wow.
We'll be right back. Save some for me, sister.
That is not chocolate. Oh my God, it's so good.